guess we should get started. It's been a long afternoon. And as usual, we have to start with the first part. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for the May 21st, 2024 Chicago Teachers Pension Fund Finance and Audit Committee meeting. For the record, I am Mary Sharon Riley, Financial Secretary and Committee Chair. This meeting is being held in person at our office at 425 Financial Place. The Finance and Audit Committee is a standing committee and includes 5 CTPF trustees. A quorum for this meeting is 3 trustees. The committee meets as needed and provides oversight of management's administration of the fund's annual budget and financial operations. Committee members include Paula Barajas, Vice President Jacqueline Price Ward, Quentin S. Washington, Tammy F. Vincent, and myself. Please note the following: access instructions for remote attendance and instructions for in-person attendance have been posted in the fund's website. All participants, please wait to be recognized by the chair before speaking, and please limit discussion from each trustee to 3 minutes. Please note that our staff and trustees to focus on the business of the meeting, we will not be responding to messages from participants using the Zoom chat feature. Please forward questions to memberservices@ctpf.org. We will now move to public participation. Do we have any members of the public who wish to be heard? Please raise your hand or send a note to the chat. Please limit your statement to 3 minutes each. Do we have anyone, Cecilia?
Yes, we have Tina Padilla.
Okay. Tina? Tina, are you there?
Now I am, Mary Sharon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm going to start my timer. I'm glad to see you there. You look fabulous. And I promise, this is the last time you're not going to see me today. That's my joke. Okay, no, seriously, guys, you know I'm here and this is a labor of love, but the serious piece is this, and I have a little story. On Mother's Day, I had the privilege to share Mother's Day with a couple of my former students. We went to Seafood City. Mr. Vincent, I think you might know what I'm talking about. My former Filipino students and I gathered with our families there in the food court. And as we were talking to each other, I told her what I was doing. And one of my students said to me, "Oh, you're protecting your golden parachute." And oh gosh, that it was like a kick in the stomach when she said that to me. So I went west a little bit and I said, she done me wrong. And what I mean, you know, it's May West, get it? That's my other joke. You know, I'm tired when I get funny. Okay, I'm going to stop. My point that I'm trying to make here is that defined benefits, I come back to the defined benefits and the perception that is out there that we are creating a golden parachutes, which that's the perception. How are our tier 2 teachers going to try to convince the legislators that this is the perfect plan for them when the public thinks that we're creating golden parachutes? But then I went back to West and I was thinking, is this true what she's saying? We are lock, stock, and barrel in that trajectory, well, you know, in that direction. What does it, and this is where I'm coming, this is my question. What value is it to give a person a change of title? To me, that just means that it's part of the marketing scheme to get a pay raise and again have that perception of creating the golden parachute. And this is the same thing that happened to many, many other defined benefit plans. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave you with that. Love you guys. And I'm still hanging in there too. Okay, goodbye.
Thanks, Tina. Please call the roll now.
Roll call of committee members, trustee Riley,
Present.
trustee Barajas, trustee Price Ward,
Maybe we should wait a minute. We're taking a little break because people have left the room for a moment.
trustee Barajas,
Present.
Present.
trustee Washington,
Present.
trustee Benson.
Present.
Roll call of non-committee members, trustee Beza, trustee Blackwell, trustee Ochoa,
Present.
trustee Rodriguez,
Present.
trustee Nelson,
Present.
trustee Woods. That concludes roll call.
And we do have a quorum, or actually we have 5 members. And there is no one attending remotely, so we don't have to do that. Sorry. The first item is to approve the February 27th, 2024 Finance and Audit Committee meeting minutes. Do I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Trustee Barajas,
Yes.
trustee Price Ward,
Yes.
trustee Riley,
Oh, so we're not just going here, we're going. Yes,
trustee Washington,
Yes.
trustee Benson,
Yes.
5 ayes.
we're going to first go into executive session. So I would entertain the motions to do this.
So moved.
Call the roll.
Second. Oh,
And she made it down.
Mhm.
Tammy, I
And just
think
so it's clear, that's pursuant to section
yeah, tell me.
2C29 and 2C21.
Thank you.
Who was the second? Trustee,
Yes.
trustee Price Ward,
Yes.
trustee Riley,
Yes,
trustee Washington,
Yes.
trustee Benson,
Yes. Present.
trustee Washington,
Present.
trustee Benson,
Present.
roll call of non-committee members. Trustee Ochoa,
Present.
trustee Nelson, trustee Rodriguez. That concludes roll call.
The screen's back on.
Fees, manager fees, largest increase.
So you turn it off.
So we have a quorum. And Carlton's going to control this kind of part of the meeting because Elise is not here.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the budget first, Dan. Yep. I'm sorry.
Professional legal service. Oh, I have to check this.
So the next item on the agenda is the FY25 budget discussion and action. Elise wasn't feeling well, but Michael is online, so he will assist with any questions from the board as we go through the presentation deck. But as you know, each year we compile the budget, which provides an estimate of the fund's expenses for the year. And the process captures the trustees' policy directives as well as the organizational needs and translates those into financial priorities. The budget season here at CTPF begins in February when finance and the leadership team begin to review the current year. We project our future expenses and we complete the draft, which is what is in front of you today, for the May Finance and Audit Committee meeting. We would hope in anticipation of your vote today that will go to the full board on June 20th. We take a zero-based approach to budgeting, meaning that each year we start with a blank slate and we build a budget that enables us to administer the fund. The approved budget is an authorization for the year, and the funds that are not used or needed stay with the fund. For FY25, the budget for administration and investment expenses total $83.3 million. This represents a 4% increase over the 2024 budget of $80.1 million. Last year, inflation averaged 4.1%. So budgeting for 2024 was on target, and we expect to spend about 97.4% of the funds that were authorized in the administrative budget when we get to June 30. So next slide. Here you see the 2024 approved budget versus the estimated remaining budget. And we estimate that through June 30th, we'll spend 78 of the $80 million that were approved, leaving a balance of $2 million remaining for 2024. So hitting the highlights of the budget, the largest dollar increases come in the budget for investment management fees that we discussed this morning. It reflects the expectation that the portfolio net asset value will increase, and then the fees will increase proportionately. So good news, bad news, as the portfolio grows, then the fees necessarily grow with the portfolio. And that does represent the largest increase in our budget. An increase in professional legal services has been added to support current litigation needs. We do hope to recoup some of these expenses following the conclusion of litigation. The personnel budget includes a 2% performance-based increase and the 3% COLA. The trustees revised the cost of living formula in 2023 to reflect the standard 3% cost of living, replacing the Social Security inflation rate. For the second year, our headcount remains steady with no new positions anticipated for fiscal year 25.
At what point can we ask questions or wait?
At the
till you
end.
Go through the whole thing. Well, that's what I want to know.
Well,
You
I'm
say-
answering
would
you
you
at
say-
the end.
You can't, trustee Rodriguez. Thank you, trustee Riley.
So looking at the 2025 budget highlights by category, we'll start. In fact, why don't you proceed to the next to the last slide? I'll walk through these categories, but let the board see the actual dollar amounts as I go through them. Thank you. Go to, yes, perfect. So actually go back one more slide. Thank you. So this is a category summary overview. I'm going to just hit the highlights by category. There's a $20,000 expense that was added in 2025 for office furniture to convert conference rooms to offices in 2025. Equipment, new investments, as we discussed on Thursday in Coupa, procurement software to improve financial and legal reporting. Joining the Coupa Supplier Network will enable future savings for CTPF. And we also have an upgrade of the AV equipment in this room for our board meetings. Under professional services, we're adding an election expense for unscheduled elections. A decrease in expenses is expected from our CPS audits, and you'll hear more about that in just a few minutes, due to moving resources in-house and increase in external audits that'll be focused on charter schools. Also under professional services, additional consulting services to evaluate IT software needs, which is expected to lead to a streamlining of future expenses. And then finally, internal audit, they reduced their budget with an anticipated conclusion of the external audit. Supplemental, we do have a reduction in expenses due to a decrease in the cost of postage for the outside rebate applications. Miscellaneous had a $3,500 increase that was primarily due to projected increase in Department of Insurance filing fees. And then finally, supplies, we had a modest increase in the supply budget that really reflected a move of several items from miscellaneous for improved transparency. In addition, we have HR supplies that correspond to reductions in the admin version of the budget. And so those are the budget highlights by category. And then the last slide shows you a summary of the budget for 2025 alongside the final budget for 2024. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Questions from anyone?
Executive Director Lenore. On the, that's why I went back, page 12. Let me take it back, let me see. Some of these figures are almost to the exact penny, and I'll give you an example. Personnel, we had a decrease, there was 17, approved 17,824,000 and then 18. So with a decrease of 810, but we had some positions that we opened. What did the decisions that we made for the positions we voted on Thursday, are they included in here? They were part of this budget, correct?
The positions that were approved last week, yes.
Last week, thank
Yes.
you. All right, so on page 13, Board of Trustees, what is that 126,000 for?
The Board of Trustee budget, Gail, do you have the answer to that?
I'm sorry,
Which page?
It's
I'm
the
sorry, page 13.
summary by department, Board of Trustees budget.
Yes,
Okay, hold on, I'm trying to scroll to that page.
But
I might be in the
it's
wrong
not 800 and
presentation.
something, it's
Is it Ms. Gale?
126.
the 13's in the left, in the lower
Page
right-hand
8?
corner.
Okay,
That was on another one. I
Yeah,
think.
because they have two numbers on them.
okay, and your question is,
So my
26.
question was, what is $126,000 for Board of Trustees?
well, that would be the total expenses, and I would have to go in and pull up the individual expenses to take a look at it. So I can answer that, but I have to pull up the entire expense, and I can do that.
Let me ask you, what I'm trying to find out is the expenses that we pay for subs for when trustees, when we have pension board meetings. Well, do you know what line item that be or what page?
For substitutes,
Oh, now I can hear you.
okay. Yeah, thus far, we have not paid into any buckets for substitutes.
How long has it been?
It's been several years,
Several years.
several years.
Okay. But do we still place it on is it on a budget line?
It
or-
is not in the budget.
Okay, so how is that handled?
Normally, Trustee Rodriguez, we will have some surplus in certain areas, including in the trustee budget. So trying to make sure this is a zero-based budget and not including anything that we haven't actually experienced as an expense, we didn't factor it in. But should we have to pay for a sub, there would be dollars available and we would use the Board of Trustee budget.
And what do we have for conference? Education and training on page 16, is that what that is? Oh, no, that's just the
Or-
description, I'm sorry. What would be the, you guys know this better than I do, right? Where would conferences be on here?
It's going to be
Education
under,
and training,
you
right,
got it.
page 12?
yes. Mhm.
12,
Yes.
Board of Trustees and staff, so they're placed together? It's one line item?
It's rolled up here, but in the detailed budget, it's broken out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Carlton?
So Madam Chair, the staff recommends that the Finance and Audit Committee forward the FY 2025 budget to the full board with a recommendation for adoption at the June 20th, 2024 meeting.
Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Question?
Trustee Washington and Barajas. Roll call, Trustee Barajas,
Yes.
trustee Price Ward,
Yes.
trustee Riley,
Yes.
trustee Washington,
Yes.
trustee Benson,
Yes.
5 ayes.
All right, Carlton.
Yes, so next up is employer reporting and audit status update.
Members of Finance and Audit Committee and members of the board.
Is your mic on?
Yeah.
Get closer to it, please.
Good
No.
afternoon. I think
I don't think it's,
Good afternoon, yes.
That's better.
Good afternoon, members of Finance and Audit Committee and members of the board. My name is Ada Mabrate. I'm the Employer Services Reporting Team Supervisor. I'll be presenting to you the next few slides with the key operational highlights for employer reporting. So I'll start with the first slide, that is CPS submission status update. This includes the CPS file submission from December of 2023 to April of 2024. As in the past, CPS has been submitting payroll records on time, and we have received all the funds in full. Any questions on that? Moving to the next slide. This is the charter exception status update. This chart depicts the overall outstanding charter exceptions. As you can see, from January of 2024 through March, there has been a steady decrease in the outstanding discrepancies for charter schools. However, you see a little bit of a dip in March, but a spike in April. This is due to loss of staff from our team, and we have hired a new staff, and we're getting also additional assists. So we are hoping to get this exception counts trending down. Any questions?
Anyone? Proceed.
Going over the next slide. This is CPS exception status update. This is also reflecting the outstanding exception for CPS. Year over year, from April to April of 2024, there has been 25% decrease in outstanding CPS exceptions. We have been working closely with CPS in terms of CPS reviewing our exception reports. And on the chart, you see that there is a cyclical dip and rise. And this is due to the process that CPS follows. We send them exception reports, they review it, and it takes some time for them to submit adjustment and resolve data discrepancies. But there has been progress, and we are looking forward to more collaborative work with CPS to reduce outstanding exception counts. Any questions? Yes.
Oh, thank you for that. Could you give me an example of one of the one of the exceptions that occurs the most? Because I'm not really clear on what the exceptions are, so.
So with CPS, the way we define exceptions is any data discrepancy. And we have checks and balance in our system to flag any discrepancies. So for CPS, contribution discrepancy is the key high volume exception that we get, and we send out.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
Okay, so for CPS, the highest exception count we get is from contribution discrepancy. And this is when CPS sends out pension records, there is a discrepancy on the employee or employer contribution amounts. And we send reports to CPS to review that and resolve. So one of the ways they would resolve it by sending us adjustment upon review. And at times they were not able to report the employee portion of the contributions, and that creates discrepancy. So we work with CPS to get those discrepancies cleared, mostly through adjustments.
My favorite personal story is they overpaid me for a year and could never take it back.
How did they do that?
I don't know.
No, CPS,
We're still doing CPS, aren't we?
CPS exception status update. Any additional questions?
Is that all you have? Ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Madam Chair, we have employer payroll delinquencies and adjustments. Evelyn?
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees and committee members. My name is
Come on, a little louder.
Evelyn Abrego.
There we go.
Better.
I am the Accounting Operations Manager, and I will be going over section 6B, employer delinquencies. Okay, since the last Finance and Audit Committee meeting, we had one employer with an untimely submission. I'll proceed to go over a quick breakdown by month. What you're seeing in front of you is the March aging report. In March, we had 0 employers with late submissions. We did have 3 employers who submitted payments. They all paid in full and were removed from the aging report.
Yeah, this one.
Can we go to the April aging report, please? Yes. Now, in the month of April, we did have 1 employer with an untimely submission. The employer was CICS Network, and we had 2 employers who submitted payments. One of them was CICS Network. They paid the same month. The other employer was Erie Elementary. They submitted a partial payment, and they're still on the aging report because they still have a balance due. That is the quick highlights on the employer delinquencies. Are there any questions? Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Say that again, madam. I can't see those, I'm sure. All right. So next, Madam Chair, that's coming in the vote agenda. No, not now, but it's coming later. Yep. Yep. Next, Madam Chair, you have the CPS and charter school payroll audit status. Renita Watts.
Yeah, how are you?
And Keki Shaw.
Trustee Riley and all the members of the Finance and Audit Committee. My name is Renita Watts. I am the supervisor of the employee audit team here at CTPF. The first slide I'll be going over is a CPS status update.
It's a little louder, Renita.
Okay.
I can see that, but it's not what this is.
Hello.
There we go.
Okay. The first thing we were going over is CPS payroll audit status update. Our external auditors, McNeil, is currently working on the CPS audits. The scope period for these audits is July 1st, 2017 through June 30th of 2019. There are over 4,000 employees with CPS, and we have broken this audit up into 15 separate groups by last name. Present day CPS letters A through P and S have been finalized and the audit reports have been sent to CPS. Letters Q, R, and TUV are currently being reviewed by CPS, and we should have a response by the end of this week on those. CPS letter W through Z, McNeil is currently working on with CPS, and we are still on target to complete all of CPS audits by the end of this fiscal year. Next slide.
Who is a question? Edgar?
Just making a remark that we're ahead of schedule wrapping up CPS audit.
Oh, great. Yay.
We're ahead of schedule.
Okay, any other questions?
Any questions? No. Next slide, please. This first slide is an indication of how many audits we have finished for this fiscal year. We have completed 27 audits as of this fiscal year, and we're still on target to finish approximately 8 more before June 30th.
Yay.
And just as a point of reference, Madam Chair, 2 years ago, we got 5 done in 3 years. So,
Wow.
great job. Yeah.
She came from CPS and we thought she was gonna do a fair and good job with us. Nobody ever do that.
Yeah, Tanya's not here.
Next slide, please. This slide is just an indication of the CPS audits we have finished, what they did 100% audit, which is the same as before, which is letters A through G. And the total cost per grouping is $125,337.32, with the average days to complete is 588 days. And the average percentage of findings per member is 0.11%. Next slide. This is an indication of the audits we have completed with the 3% sample. For letters H through P and letter S, the total cost per grouping is $46,152.70, with the average days to complete is 256 days, and the percent of findings per member is 0.16%. By going to the sample audits, we have saved approximately $79,184.62 per audit, with a total cost savings of $475,101.72.
Right there.
What?
And we, and the total, and the average days that was cut by 232 days overall. As of this fiscal year, we have spent approximately $562,288 with the total overall cost for, oh, I'm sorry, next slide. But the total overall cost for all the auditings is 3.64 million.
Ooh. Did you say that again? I see
Three-
it right here. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe this.
Since 2017.
This is amazing. What's your name, Jackie?
Renita.
Anita? I was gonna give you my name.
Yeah, but you know, it's.
One thing that helped.
Some of these audits go back, I think, to probably like 2020, 2021.
Mhm.
And that's when we got rid of Grant Thornton.
Next slide, please. The total contributions that were received because of this audit is $909,000, $909,131.76. Next slide, please. So this slide is an indication of the members that were added and removed as a result of the audit. There were a total of 443 employees removed from the fund due to employees not being in a covered position or they weren't licensed. But there were 169 members that were added to the fund that were non-reported licensed educators.
That's the one we. Yeah.
Those are the ones we found and put in the plan. Yeah.
And that is something that's always been a scam with the charter schools. They run on their own, they have these businessmen, and they lie and they say, oh, no, we're good, we're good. Oh, they said they're good, we don't need to worry. You always need to worry with money, you always need to worry. Just because someone says it doesn't mean it's true.
Okay. They're supposed to have 75% of their staff
Yeah,
by 2004 licensed teachers, 75%. So from an inside person, I heard that they do hire unemployed teachers and bring them in.
Yeah,
As soon as the audit is over, you gotta go.
they grown.
Oh,
men.
wow.
so you mean they're padding the books.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was with their 2003 blue contract book that they opened the cancer of the charter schools. They were filling up third floor old story buildings and that.
Any questions? Thank you.
All right. And Keki, you handling the contract school?
We have more good news, great
More good
news,
news,
actually.
more good news. Contract school payroll audit status?
Yes,
Right.
so, actually that slide. So in addition to auditing CPS and non-CPS employers, we are now auditing contract schools in-house, the employer service team. So staff is auditing, we're not utilizing the outside auditors. So right now we have a list of 8 contract schools. And out of the 6, field work is in progress. So what that means is that we're reviewing the licensure lookup, the payroll register, et cetera. And then the remaining 2, we have Little Black Pearl, where we've issued a preliminary audit report. And as of yesterday, we actually issued the final audit report to Little Black Pearl. And the last school is Plateau Learning Academy. The audit status is that we're waiting on post-audit adjustments to be reported. And as of recently, they have reported the post-audit adjustments. So we're moving in that direction, auditing contract schools. They're working with us and we're excited.
Excellent.
How many contract schools do we have?
9, we have Hope Institute, which the outside auditors is taking care of that, but the remaining ones we're doing in-house.
Yeah, they were always rare and few.
We're bringing it in. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This is Martin Koleg's baby, yes.
So just a quick question, the ones that are in progress,
The ones that are in progress are the Chicago High
no,
School.
no, I know which ones I
Oh,
can.
okay. Sorry.
So the ones that are in progress, are you finding it, working with them to get the information that you need, okay? Or is it
Yes, it's work in progress. So just really quickly, high overview. We send them a payroll audit introduction letter, and within the letter, we ask them for a series of documents, and we give them 30 days from when we send the letter for them, the school, to upload. Sometimes they're really good about that. They'll upload it. Other times we work with them, we call them, send an email. But for the most part, they work with us and trying to give us the information we need.
So of the 3 that you have in progress, and one of them is a multi-network one, I know.
Yes.
Are any of those not meeting the deadlines?
No, so far they've been uploading the documents as we've been requesting.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
They thought they were exempt from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was Martin Koldyke. He did his thing with them.
Okay.
So far, so.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thanks.
Next item, Madam Chair, is the financial report. I'm going to stand in for Elise to give a quick update on the report of the Committee on Finance and report of the Financial Secretary that was also in the board materials for last Thursday. Starting with our top 10 expenses from March 2024. The usual suspects, TELUS Health, Chapman Spingola, our rent at 440 South LaSalle Street. In addition, the total expenses for the month ending March 31st, 2024 were $2,779,031.28. Our budget to date, and this was as of May 6, 2024, we had spent $62.6 million of the $80.1 million that was approved, so we're at 78%. And as we talked about earlier, we're projected to be at about 97% through June 30th, 2024. The assets for the fund, looking at our statement of planned positions and our statement of change in planned positions, was $12.8 billion as of February 29th, 2024. And due to receiving our tax levy, the cash position of the fund as of March 2024 was $615.1 million. And with that, I'll yield my time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Question. Yeah. Sorry, Maria, I tend to look this way, but
Oh, it's all right.
no. it's-
In the administrative expenses, we've been talking about this since you first arrived, where everything would say, would be under, I guess, your American Express card. So now that we have a chief CTO, thank you. It's been bothering me for years.
Yeah. And it will be effective July 1, once those positions are official, but yes.
July 1, okay. Thank you.
All right, now who's presenting now? Carlton, are you?
Next item is the, I think, vote agenda. So we have the approval of the recommendation for charter school late fees. I think that's Dan. Yeah. Now we're ready.
Come on, Dan.
No.
Can you talk? There's a mic on.
Yeah, we're having fun with mics today.
How about now? Yeah,
There we go.
okay. I
Yeah,
can hear
that's
that.
much better, Dan.
So this is a request to write off an amount of contributions, et cetera, a judgment against Foundations School of $173,210. The case has been pending for a long time. Foundations closed just after the prior outside law firm had obtained a judgment against them. In the meantime, we were able to collect some of the judgments that were entered against 2 individuals, not necessarily principals, but individual administrators of foundations, a total of $30,930. This has been a long time coming. This is an old case, but our new outside counsel in particular is making efforts to see if we could discover any assets whatsoever of this school that's closed and defunct. And it's just been concluded that this is uncollectible, that there are no assets for this closed school that's been closed for many years. We took a long time to come to this conclusion because we don't like to write money off. We know the board doesn't like to write money off, but at some point we have to do, I think our auditors and finance people will tell us that if something's uncollectible. then we need to write it off.
In other
So-
words, you can't get blood out of a turnip.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is, when we find out that they owed us money?
Let's see, it was in June of 2020.
June 2020.
That's right.
And when did they close?
Just about then. I don't have the
Around the same
exact date,
time.
but right after the judgment was entered. We knew they owed us
So they
money.
were good up until June 2020 and all of a sudden they shut down?
I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. I
Well,
think
I
they,
don't-
I
well,
think they should.
well-
I don't know that. Trustee
Okay, you
Rodriguez,
don't
yeah.
know. Who,
Yeah.
who does know? Is there somebody, do you know?
No, trustee Wright, I was not here at that time.
Or- 2020, came in August 2021.
All
Is
right.
there anybody that would know? I'm just curious, to get the whole picture of the story if I'm gonna vote for something.
Nobody knows. So I'd entertain a motion to. Oh, Edgar, you have an answer?
Thank you.
We had a problem with closing schools and making sure we could conclude the audits around the time when the employer services team was having issues with completing audits and keeping the personnel to conduct the audits. So we have done a cleanup. We have dealt with all the closed schools and we have a formal procedure in place now to prevent that from happening again, which is why you heard from my staff earlier, Little Black Pearl, which I think it's official now, is closing at the end of this year. We make sure we got them done before we even got to the end of the closing year to prevent that type of problem. And we're doing the same as quickly as we find out that a school will be closing.
So-
We're working towards that as well.
But, all right, Maria, you're talking out of turn. Let's get the motion on the floor since that's where we are.
Well, because I still had, again,
You're not voting, Maria, so why don't we just,
what's wrong? Are you okay?
I'd entertain a motion to approve the writing off of the remaining $173,210.61 judgment against Foundations Prep.
So move.
Second, any? Call the question?
I concur.
Trustee Barajas. Trustee Ford.
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Washington.
Yes.
Trustee Benson.
Yes.
5 ayes.
It's you, Edgar?
Oh,
Good afternoon, trustees. Hopefully, I can get you out of here quickly. So I'm gonna give you the short version. As you heard from Carlton, our executive director, and my staff, through today's presentations, we have been making changes and trying to expedite audits, and we're making a significant turnaround. As you guys are aware of, we use external auditors. No secret, it's been one of our biggest expenses. We were using 3 firms. 2 were strictly for charter schools and 1 was for CPS. With the changes we have made with the auditor McNeil for CPS, we're going to be ahead of schedule in completing that audit about 9 months earlier than we earlier expected.
Oh,
So because of they're going to be completing the CPS audit, we had to replace one of the other auditors that we had before, B&K, which was terminated about a year ago, and we were left with only 1 auditor for the charter schools. In order to replace that, we went through a process with legal to do the exploration and find another firms. This was attempted about a year ago by Elise while the team was under her management, and there was no takers on it. We did it again, and based on the feedback we received, we're bringing to you the request to approve and extend the contract with now to go outside of CPS, which they were working on, and their contract was specifically limited to only working on the CPS audit, to also working on charter schools as they complete the CPS audit. This will not be additional money cost. In fact, for fiscal year 25, we are coming in at $100,000 savings under budget. This is just to modify the contract. They have retained the same rates that they have been with us for the last 2 years as they've been working on the CPS audit. And there is not going to be an additional cost.
Sounds good.
Any questions?
Just adding the audit of the charters to this.
We're modifying the contract to work on other audits outside of CPS, which is what they've been doing, to also work on charter schools, non-CPS audits going forward. That's why.
All right, so the recommendation is to engage McNell to perform comprehensive payroll compliance audit services related to charter school pension contributions to the fund. Services are to be performed based on agreed compliance to audit procedures. Such procedures are subject to change at the sole discretion of CTPF. So is that a motion or is it just a continuation? We need a formal motion, so I'd entertain this motion.
So moved.
I don't know who did it. Tammy?
So move. Quentin?
Quentin? And you second? Okay. Call the question.
Trustee Baraha?
Yes.
Trustee Price Ward?
Yes.
Trustee Riley?
Yes.
Trustee Washington?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
5 ayes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all
jamming
jamming
over there
over
with
them
them
audits.
Now we have
Sean?
consider a motion to approve the annual internal audit plan for fiscal 2025. Come back here, Sean.
Hello. This on? Yep.
Yeah, it's on.
So requesting the Finance and Audit Committee to approve the annual audit plan. And as a background, again, internal audit, the annual audit plan, best practice is to have the Finance and Audit Committee approve that plan. And obviously, provide you with the information of the projects that we're going to hope to complete in the next fiscal year. And so I would recommend Finance and Audit Committee to approve the fiscal year 2025 internal audit plan. So move.
I don't know who you got, but
They got it.
call the question after you get it down.
Motion was made by trustee Washington, seconded by trustee Price Ward. Trustee Barajas?
Yes.
Trustee Price Ward?
Yes.
Trustee Riley?
Yes.
Trustee Washington?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
5 ayes.
Thank you.
I would have voted for it, Sean, if I could.
Minutes to approve. Becky?
Now, where are we?
We would request a vote to approve the executive session minutes from the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of February 27th, 2024.
Second.
Call the question.
Trustee Barajas?
Yes.
Trustee Price Ward?
Yes.
Trustee Riley?
Yes.
Trustee Washington?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
5 ayes.
Do we have any unfinished business? I don't think so. How about new business? Not at this point. How about a move for adjournment?
So move.
Call the question.
Trustee Barajas?
Yes.
Trustee Price Ward? Trustee Price Ward?
Oh, yeah.
Trustee
Oh,
Riley?
she wants to stay all night.
Trustee Riley? Trustee
Yes.
Riley? Trustee Washington?
Yes.
Trustee Vincent?
Yes.
5 ayes.
All right.
Okay.
Gotta get out of here.